We interviewed you first, I think, about 5 years ago now
Yep,
in Little Rock, Arkansas.
that's right.
But since then, you have made, you've retired
I have
finally,
retired.
and you're,
Newsflash, I am no longer employed. I am now a burden on society. Retired. Getting ready, and so the update in Papaw's life is, and the reason why I haven't posted any videos for the past year, I've been wrapping up projects at work. I have been working on getting the house ready to sell. We've been getting our residency for Mexico. And as soon as our house sells, hopefully in a month or two, we are moving to San Luis Potosí in the
yeah,
central highlands of Mexico.
yeah.
And yeah, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I wanted to say that Jeff has actually been looking at moving to San Luis for longer than we've lived there.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we first heard about it. We didn't know it existed. We were looking, of course, here at Ajijic, San Miguel, Oaxaca, the usual suspects. And we were watching YouTuber Tao of David Ostrowski,
yeah.
okay? And he came through San Luis
yes.
Potosí, and he said, this is my new favorite
I remember that video.
city in Mexico. And so we started looking it up and studying, and the more we learned, the more we liked. And so after visiting around Mexico, we visited Oaxaca City, Aguascalientes, Guadalajara. We've been to Ajijic now 3 times. And of course, we've been up and down the coasts to the resorts. We fell in love with San Luis Potosí. It ticks all of our boxes. That's where we're moving, hopefully in just a few months.
Yeah. So, Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about what your journey has been like from, because you're going through the process now where you're cleaning out your house, getting it ready for,
Oh,
for
yes.
sale.
Yes, this is, well, let's back up a little bit. Earlier
Okay.
this year, my wife and I, my lovely wife, Sherry, y'all have seen her. Well, you've heard her. She doesn't like to be on camera. She helps with the dinner, the evening meal videos at the resorts, okay? We decided that we were going to retire early. We weren't going to wait another 3 years, that we're retiring early. And we're selling everything that we don't really need, and we're moving to Mexico. Now, this wasn't a snap decision. We've made this decision a few years ago, but just when we were going to do it, that decision came organically. We had a very hot summer in Little Rock, and we've had a brutally cold, icy winter so far in Little Rock. We got to get out of there, okay? And so we're ready to leave, and we accomplished that by going through the residency process. So we got our temporary residencies for Mexico so that we're legal. We're hopefully we don't get deported, but we have our residency cards, and we went through that. And I know there's a lot of folks, and I will add this to the title of my version of this interview, that it's important to get correct facts when you're learning how to do your residency. If you're looking at retiring or relocating to Mexico, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and unfortunately the worst place to get information is where a lot of people rely on, and that is Facebook groups. I'm sorry, I've always wanted to be helpful to my viewers, and my message to any viewer that is considering residency in Mexico and learning that process, I have 2 pieces of advice. Don't get information from Facebook groups, number 1. And the number 2 is purchase the Mexico Relocation Guide. My viewers know that I don't often recommend any businesses. That's not what my thing is about. But I will say this. We purchased the Mexico Relocation Guide. I couldn't have done it without it, okay? I may have hired a different facilitator, and it would have cost me more money. So I don't think I saved or spent more money.
Yeah.
I would have needed a facilitator to do it because my
Right.
Spanish. Now, if you're fluent in Spanish, okay, and if you have a relative here in Mexico that can help you, do it yourself.
Sure.
But my recommendation is to purchase, and I have no business relationship with Mexico Relocation Guide whatsoever. But I will say, I couldn't have done it without them. Or I could have done it, but there would have been failures and aggravation along the way. We completed our application process at the Oklahoma City Consulate. They were wonderful. If you're traveling to do that portion, I recommend the Oklahoma City Consulate. And we went to Mazatlan to do our conhe, to finalize the process and get our cards. So I recommend doing that as well, mainly because that I&M office doesn't require appointments. It's a walk-in, like the one here in Chapala. And so those two things are my big recommendations that, for all my viewers, this is a recommendation.
Right.
If you're considering relocating to Mexico.
The Mexico Relocation Guide has a lot of resources for just about everywhere in Mexico. And again, we're not sponsored by them. It's just a tremendously helpful resource.
Right.
So.
Exactly. And it's worth it. I can't stress that enough.
Now, Jeff, you're getting rid of the stuff in your house.
Yes. For the past month, we have been boxing things up that we're bringing to Mexico with us, and we're following the advice of those that went before us.
Just a month you've been doing this?
Yes,
It
just
seems
a
like
month, a month and a
longer.
half.
Seems like a lot longer.
Yeah, we did video conference call when we started it, and I was picturing, I showed Sherry, just a packing away and all the stuff out on the countertops with them. And so I guess, we started that the first week of January, and here we are the first week of February. So it's been a month, and we're boxing up the things that we're bringing to Mexico, and it's just our kitchen things, the plates, the flatware, the things that cooking utensils. We're bringing our pots and pans. We have some not really expensive stuff, but some good stuff. We're bringing our linens, and my wife has many handmade quilts that she's inherited from family members. We're bringing those. We're bringing our clothes, and very importantly, we're bringing Chewy and Queso, the Chihuahuas. They're coming with us, and the rest of it. When we left Wednesday, before we left this past week on Wednesday, we handed the keys to our house to an estate sale agent. And so right now they are going through our house, getting everything, all of our stuff. Someone's rifling through it, getting ready for an estate sale. I hope that goes well.
Was it difficult for you to decide what you're going to get rid of and what you're going to keep? Was there like a sentimental attachment to anything?
Maybe more for Sherry.
Well, more for her, but she's the more sentimental one of our pair, and that's not a fault. That's a strength, I think, because I'm not sentimental, and so we need balance there. And so yes, there were some tough decisions, and she's made excellent decisions, and I'm guilty as well because I started with 4 Rubbermaid tubs of tools. Tools. I don't need them all. And I'm in the process of cutting that down to 2 tubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
And I won't need all of that either. So it's a difficult process. And anybody that has relocated to Mexico, y'all have gone through it. You know it's difficult. It's not easy. Again, more advice. Start now. If you're planning on doing it in a year, start now.
Yeah.
It takes longer than you think.
Yes, he's absolutely right.
It
We
really,
went
really
through that
does.
Same process too. So
I've got a plan for getting these things to San Luis Potosí. And I like to say, well, General Custer had a plan too.
Yeah.
But hopefully that part will work out well, and we'll go smoothly. Our house should hit the market the first week of March. And if anybody wants a house in Midtown Little Rock, get in touch with our agent. It'll be listed.
Now, Paulette had a sentimental attachment to about 4 carloads for stuff.
It'll probably be about.
Stay focused. This is on Jeff.
Oh,
not me.
this is about me, not her.
Yeah.
No
This is
no
about-
deflecting.
That's right.
I got you.
That's right.
Yes, but we're very happy. We're both very anxious and we're tired. We're excited. We're ready for this to all happen. It's happening, and sometimes it's not real. We don't think it's real, but it is.
You have to pinch yourself.
You gotta, here, don't
Yeah.
pinch too hard.
Yeah.
But
The older you get, the longer that bruise stays.
that bruise will stay. That's true. That is true. But we've had a wonderful visit here in Ajijic. We came down again for Mextranjero 2026. We met several subscribers. It was a fun event yesterday.
It was.
And networking with all the other YouTubers, and in a few days we'll find out where the next one's going to be, and we'll let everybody know that.
I think there was 14 YouTubers there.
14.
And how many subscribers do you think probably came?
I'm going to put the over and under at 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
well-attended
people just
event.
kind of came and went, and
Yes.
and it was at the Lake Chapala.
Lake Chapala Society here in Ajijic. We want to give a plug and kudos to Lake Chapala Society for all the hard work and the volunteers and the donations to make this event very, very successful. Many YouTubers, 14 of us in fact, are going to be doing videos about Mextranjero 2026. And I don't know if the link will be in this video, but we will get a link in our videos for videos related to that event.
Yeah. And for those that you probably don't know this, but we're actually doing 2 videos at once as
Yes.
we're sitting here.
Yes. So we have 2 cameras going, and it ought to be interesting. We'll do a comparison and contrasting on editing.
Yeah.
To see how it goes. We have 4 microphones out here, getting all the good sound, and we'll do an editing competition. How's that?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. What advice would you give people that are planning on making a move? You know, like, I mean, it doesn't have to be Mexico. It's just out of the country. What advice would you give to people? I mean, you're going through it right now.
Yeah.
What's your suggestion?
Well, our pinch points may be different than others, but I think you have to really know that that's what you need to be doing. Not this is the whim, this is the cool thing to do this year, okay?
Right.
That you really need to have sussed it through, discussed it, and you really know that that's what you want to do, okay? I've been acquainted with a few folks, digitally in the YouTube world, and that in Facebook groups, etc. Folks that came and it wasn't what they wanted, and
Right.
most of the time they rushed into it, I think. Okay, and so it takes time, and I think a wonderful exercise to make sure that it's what you want to do is go through the process of getting your residency. It's difficult. It isn't easy. You have to have stick-to-itiveness. You have to, you gotta want it, okay?
And your spouse has to
You
want it.
both of you have to.
Because if one doesn't want it, it probably ain't going to work.
If your partner's not on board,
Yeah.
this is a whole new set of problems. But going through that process is going to do several things. It's going to make you're going to know that you're committed to doing it, and that you can deal with Mexican bureaucracy. Okay, because that is a bureaucratic nightmare. Getting your residency if you're from the U.S. or Canada, it's difficult. Now, I have chatted with people online that just sailed through with no difficulties whatsoever. That wasn't us. We got it done, but it wasn't easy. And I stuck to it, was serious about it, and got it done.
Right.
So that's my piece of advice is complete your residency, and if you can do that, you're golden. You've demonstrated to yourself that this is what you really want to do. And be sure you visit. Okay, come and visit and stay places.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the
Yeah.
ground.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, boots on the ground. Often when I'm asked, I will offer that the first decision someone needs to make is beach or Central Highlands. The beach is very nice, but there is heat and humidity 9 months out of the year or more. Central Highlands, not close to the beach, but really nice weather. Here we are we have our jackets on.
Yeah, I don't even know
we
what
do,
the weather is.
but I don't really need it. It's really
No,
nice.
I don't have mine on,
yeah,
and
it's
I'm
wonderful.
very comfortable.
Yeah.
But-
Nice weather year round. Okay.
Additionally, I would say that like San Luis is what you would consider high desert. Or versus-
It's up there, 6,200 feet elevation.
If you go like farther south, it becomes more tropical.
Well, there's an area. Okay, I paid attention. Okay, I'm not saying you didn't, Mark. That's not what I mean to insinuate. But San Luis Potosí is just south of the Chihuahuan Desert. Okay, and so it has that desert flora and fauna. You know the cactuses, the Palma potosina trees. It's very attractive landscape. And it has trees and a lot of willow trees and things that go with that. Near desert area. South of there, once you get, past San Miguel de Allende down to Querétaro, before the elevation goes up from Mexico City, to me, that looks like north central Texas. Okay? Rolling hills and some trees. It's nice. I'm not saying it's not nice, but there's not an attractive landscape vision that that was one of the things that we noticed.
Yeah.
We're telling everybody how great San Luis Potosí is. It's going to get crowded.
Nobody's really discovered it except for
Yeah.
us talking about it.
San
but
Luis is still relatively undiscovered by expat
Right.
population.
It's true.
but
It is.
It's a beautiful city.
It is.
really
Great
is.
weather, great food, really nice people, excellent infrastructure. Good medical. There's teaching hospitals there. Has an international airport in town.
yeah, that's true.
Checks all of our boxes.
True, for sure.
Yeah. So within a week of our house closing, the two of us and the two Chihuahuas, Chewy and Queso, we will be in the Subaru headed south.
And
And as always, from the two travelers in Mexico, and Papa got a GoPro.
what they did.
Bye, guys.
Bye.